want to introduce somebody to you who's been at the forefront of struggle and at the forefront of progress. And I've known this gentleman, he's my partner. We're running all over the country together. I've known him for a long, long time, ever since I went to New York and had to spend some time there and then moved back to DC, and we've been in contact. Al has been talking the talk, and he walks the walk. All right? When we had that disaster occur to us in November, last November, with Kasich winning and Walker winning and us losing the house, first person I called was Al Sharpton. And I said, Al, this is a new day. And we can't fight the fight the same way that we have in the past. We've got to re-energize our people. We've got to be creative about how we're going to tackle this problem. And we met. And he said, Lee, National Action Network is on board, just like they have been on board supporting us all along. Al is not only a civil rights leader in this country, he is a leader in this country. He is a leader in this country. And we are walking hand in hand. And we want you to walk hand in hand because you know what? Al and I are going to be out of here tomorrow night. Now we'll come back and see how you're doing. But this is no movement that's starting in New York City or Washington, D.C. We ain't sitting around the table making plans and not doing anything. We're taking it to the streets. We're taking it to Cleveland. We're taking it to Madison. We're taking it to California. It's up to you. It is up to all of us. We've got to retake our country. Are you ready? Are you ready? Introduce to you the great AlSharpton.
Thank you. Brothers and sisters, we are here tonight on the brink of a great movement. A movement whose time has come. Sometimes it is my firm belief that people can become intoxicated with power and go too far and force those that were asleep and comfortable to wake up and realize that they can no longer afford to lay down and sleep. Before the November election, I came to Cleveland, and some of you were with us. And we said that we could not afford for people that didn't have the interests of working people to go to power. But a lot of us were asleep. A lot of us were too busy doing nothing to take 5 to 20 minutes to stand up for ourselves. The reason why that vote was so important is because that vote decided who will sit in the State House. And many of us were so happy about winning the White House that we forgot that we could be shortchanged at the State House. Goods and services comes from the White House and the Capitol through the State House. If you have the wrong person in the State House, they can send you the right thing from the White House, but it'll never get to your house. So they regrouped, and they decided that they would take critical state houses and they would change the social and economic landscape in order to do that. What did they do? They inherited states, gave tax breaks to the rich, and say the way we're going to pay for it is we're going to charge working people, take money from the education of children, and hope they fight each other. And we would be so busy fighting each other that they would escape through through the smoke. So the problem wasn't the Wall Street greed. The problem was our teachers. The problem was the unions were greedy. The problem was y'all wanted too much. First of all, the economic meltdown did not happen off of a union contract. Lehman Brothers didn't go out of business because of no bank was dependent on a union contract. Lehman Brothers wasn't broke by no union contract. Hedge fund guys were not breaking because of what you or I did. They went with unchecked greed, while regulators looked the other way and invested some of your pension funds in schemes that undermine your future. Now they want to come back and charge you for what they already took from you. It's one thing to think I'm sweet, it's another thing to think I'm stupid. Look at Wisconsin. First thing the governor did, tax break to the rich. Then he wants to charge the workers, charge the teachers. I'm all for teachers performing. But perform for what if you're not going to get paid? And perform for what if you're going to take our benefits? What kind of nation do we have if we can recover Wall Street but don't want teachers to teach our children? You know, I was talking to someone about a half hour ago. Let me tell you something that is ironic. The irony is that many people, we get locked in these media images. I said this morning at the breakfast at Great Abyssinian, when I toured the country at the president's request with the Secretary of Education and Newt Gingrich, Greg Wayne said, oh, he's mature, he's responsible. When I stand up with labor, I'm irresponsible and a demagogue. One person, Lee, said to me, well, I thought Reverend Sharpton and National Action Network always fighting police brutality. Isn't it ironic? I'm in Cleveland fighting for police. And the ones that claim to support police are trying to rob police right for collective bargaining on this bill, SB 5. Who really are for law enforcement? How can you say, let's rob them of the right of collective bargaining, but you on their side? I love you, but I don't want you to speak for yourself. I love you, but I don't want you to have leverage to protect yourself. I think that the way to have an America is for you to live on the mercy of those that are sitting high looking low. That is not the America that our parents fought for, and that's not the America we're going to have now. Civil rights community, what is it? Our business, because people have the civil right to collective bargaining. That's not only a labor right, it's a civil right. You have the right to come together and form unions and protect your interests. Now, let me get this right. The Koch brothers can finance whatever they want. Big right-wing people can finance what they want. And if they put money up for what they believe, they are donors. And they are civically responsible entrepreneurs. But if working class people What is labor? Labor are everyday, ordinary people. Why are the churches involved? Because that's what members of the church. Why are civil rights involved? Because it is a civil rights issue. Not that you live in an isolated world. You are the people that make this town go. You protect the citizens. You clean the streets. You take care of people in public places. You teach kids how to become educated and self-respecting.